What's up, guys? John the Driver Gibbons. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. Still am, probably not for long, but I held the world record for fastest stock turbo Super STI. Broke that a couple years ago. Just kind of fell off the map a little bit. Just doing my thing now, enjoying life and trying to come back to the game strong.
So where have you been?
Oh man, life. I've been life. I got married, did the whole buy a house thing, you know, got rid of all the toys. Didn't want to, but life comes into play sooner than you think, and now just trying to catch back up to the game and see if I can just hit the ground running and do better than what I did a couple years ago. You know, hit the track heavier, hit meets heavier, whatever I could do.
So that means it's not the ending for John the Driver?
No, I can't. This clutch leg still works. I'm not in a wheelchair yet, so you know, I'm a big boy. I gotta keep this body moving. Gotta keep this leg just constantly doing something. My mind's always on a car, no matter how much I've been out. I'm always focused on a car. So I'm with 4 wheels and a motor, whether it be a die-cast car to, you know, something real, or still wrenching on buddies' cars in the background, you know.
So let's talk about your previous cars. Let's talk about that STI that had stock record.
Oh man, that STI. That was a fun car. I gotta admit, that's one of my favorite cars I had. I haven't had a lot, but to drive that thing on the street and see people's reactions, to see a brand new car stripped to the absolute, just metal, just nothing. It was pretty cool. It's just a shame how its life ended. Ended up breaking the record. We were gonna go for more. You know, my sponsors at the time, we wanted to go faster and faster and push it to hopefully mid-10s. Car broke 10s, high 10s, high 10s, just to push it towards that mid-mark or maybe even a little bit faster. But like I said, you know, life happened. You know, I met my wife now, and you know, I knew it was time to get married because she was worth it. So I sold the car. The shop I sold it to, I did nothing but great things with it. You know, made it even look better, made it even go 10 times faster. They were trying to be the first ones to crack 8s. But tragedy happened, and the driver was driving it. It seemed the motor opened up, sent fluid under the car, sent the car into the wall at 100, probably 3rd gear, so probably like 120-ish. Hit the wall pretty hard, suffered. Thank God the driver was okay, thank God everybody was alright, but the car suffered the biggest hit, and that was it. That was the end of it. That was the end of a legacy. Hopefully someone breaks it, and whoever's going for it, please go for it. Enjoy it. It's a fun ride. Torquey as hell.
Oh man, I missed that car, man. So I remember you also had an Evo after that. Tell me about the Evo.
Oh man, that bug hit was dormant for maybe a month, and then of course, you know, I had, you know, whatever money was left over. I was like, I gotta get something, you know, like what do I do after a Super STI? You know, then you start thinking about V8s and exactly V8s, Corvettes, you know, Grand Nationals. You start thinking old school. You think, what could I swap? What could I do here? Then I was like, you know what? I've always wanted an Evo. I've been a big fan. Like, let me go for big power now. Like, let me start touching to single digits. Ended up finding a very clean 06 Evo 9 SE from the same shop who actually bought my STI, and had 16,000 original miles on it, built to the 9s. Unfortunately, I had a lot of issues with it, so a lot of people didn't see it. From the minute I bought it, money was going into it. Finally met a gentleman by the name of Rafe from RT Motorsports, which is an amazing guy. If you have any Evos, please go see him. RS is amazing tuner, amazing fabricator. Whatever you need, he could do it. And finally got it dialed in. I couldn't drive with a dog box on the street anymore, so he was the one who built the transmission, so that's how I ended up finding him. And we finally got the car dialed in, everything the car needed. Car made roughly about 830 wheel horsepower. Picked it up, brought it home. Now this is the week before my wedding. 11 hours later, knock, knock, knock. Someone was knocking on heaven's door pretty fast. Ended up spinning a rod bearing. Motor was actually hurt from so many times of testing it on dyno, never getting it right. No one's fault, a lot of hands were in it. So I sold that, ended up getting rid of that 2 days later.
So, no more Evo. You pretty much go unmarked on the radar. So we didn't know what was going on. A lot of things have changed. How do you feel about the car game now versus when you were involved back then?
Oh, it's weird. It's first off, it's horrendous, the car game. I could go on and on about that. It's horrendous. It's disgusting. So many things have changed, and social media, I feel like, destroyed it to a sense. Like I said, the minute I got married, and the car was gone, I took a deep dive under the radar. Taking a back seat to the game was weird. People still walking up to me like, "What do you get next?" Da da da. And it was weird. It was like this pressure. I was like, "Whoa!" But it was actually nice to take a back seat. I gathered my thoughts, gathered my, everybody, my resources to pull out something that was worth it. And watching the game now, it's parking lot hose. That's the best way I could put it. That's the only way I could put it, is parking lot hose. And people sit there with cars that can't drive over 20 miles an hour, and wheel sizes and wraps are the new thing. And I guess whatever floats your boat, but you know what I mean. I feel like I have an old heart sometimes where I want to see a rusted car with slicks on the back of it that will literally probably separate itself from the chassis if it launches hard enough. But that's just me, and but I also give a lot of credit to the guys who were really big street racers, and they have gone deep into professional racing. Like, they're really putting the cars on the track, and they're really putting serious money into these cars. But what happened to the guys who had a street car with 500-600 horsepower? Just send it down the Hutch, or send it down the Sheridan, and wake up people 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Like, what happened to those? It's just not the same anymore. But like I said, I could go on and on about it. Parking lot of hose, and it's horrendous. The best way I could put it.
Great. So you are coming back into the car game. So I guess everybody's probably curious. What do you got? What are you pulling out? What's going on?
So I am re-entering the car game. I thought I was gonna go American Muscle, but I ended up picking up one of my dream cars, and it's always been a dream of mine. And I finally gathered up the funds, and after buying a house, it knocks you out pretty well. But if some of you have my Instagram, some of you know, some of you don't, some of you don't even know me, but ended up picking up a R32 Skyline GTR. Picked it up from Ride Zoo Imports. It's been in the process since April. Finally on its way to New York State. I should see it in a couple days, or depending on when you see this video, I should already have it. Just trying to get the car ready. Am I gonna be Mr. 9-second John to a sense in a couple months? No, I'm gonna take this nice and slow. Family has to come first right now, but it will be built up to a single-digit monster, and I could promise that. That's the promise I can make.
So What got you into cars in general when you first started?
Man, what got me into cars? That was since a kid. I was a kid. My uncle owned the gas station. You know, my father was always into cars. Who's uncle, who's cousin, who's bringing me to a car show, who's buying me Hot Wheels, who's buying me model cars. Just fascinated me. It really did. Everything about them fascinated. How you could just take something that, you know, someone takes so much time to design, to put out on the market, thinking it's the best thing. Then someone with another outlook on it goes, you know, we could change this up. We could change this up and make this thing go serious, like much faster. But that's what started it. Then all of a sudden I got my license, and then it was all downhill from there. And then everything is poof. A lot of you car guys know funds aren't there sometimes, especially when you want that new turbo or something. Well, that was a little bit about me, a little bit about my cars, a little bit about background story. Definitely want to, you know, keep you guys updated with the car and try to get you, you know, involved with me, you know, taking the car from what it is. It's pretty much a stock car, and I want to build it up from anything from like a steel braided clutch line I have here to steering wheels, tires, brakes. You know, take it just little step by step and watch the build process. And hopefully, if anybody else has one around in the tri-state area, you guys can learn something just like how I am. I'm gonna learn just like everybody else. But I wish everybody the best the rest of this car season. It's late in the car season. Everybody go for your personal best. Go for it. Don't ever let nobody stop you. Go fast or go home. Straight up. That's the best I can say.